All right, folks. You're going to get your Thanksgiving feast starting now. So we've come to the point where we're doing the implications of everything so far. And one of the implications is for what action is like. When you do things, when you actually are there in the world with body and mind doing stuff, that is different when it's coming from deeper levels of the mind, when it's coming from the heart and the enlightened mind and compassion and so on. Starting with, it's different even for moving the body, even for doing simple things with the body. And this semester, we're really fortunate that one of the GSIs, Julia, has done a lot of work on that. Sports, martial arts. She's also been in China, so she's studied with people who really know about that difference of where motion in the body can come from. And this is the simplest kind of action that we can take. So Julia's going to tell you and show you about this today. So here you are. And she's also going to lead you in a kind of meditation that's going to illustrate this, hopefully make it just brilliantly transparent.
I don't know about brilliantly transparent, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm terribly afraid of microphones, just warning you, so we'll see how this works. But okay, we're going to do 3 different types of action right now. So the first action, first of all, I want everybody to kind of relocate and shift to the front of the room. Can we do that? It helps the energy level. And if you have a laptop today, I prefer that you leave it in your bag. I don't think you're going to need to take notes. This is something slightly more experiential than what we're generally used to. So, and I'm reintroducing concepts that we all already have seen. So it shouldn't be any real new material. It's just a new way of looking at the old material. So first, I want us to, first we will all get up, hopefully give ourselves just a little space. A little more space. I don't want you to fall on anything. Okay, and when I say go, we're going to jump. So go. Okay, now I want you to go back into your seats. This is like Simon Says. Okay, so when you're in your seats, I want you to think about what jumping, if you could make the perfect jump, if you could jump perfectly in your mind, what would that look like? And I want you to want to jump perfectly. So we'll give an award for whoever jumps the most perfectly this next time, and I get to be the judge. So I want you to close your eyes for a couple seconds, and I want you to visualize what that perfect jump would look like, how it would feel. What would it feel like to be, get extra credit points for jumping perfectly? I'm serious. So really imagine what your body's going to feel like. You're going to be light as a feather, right? And it's just going to look great, and there will be glory at the end or something, right? So, okay, we all have it in our minds what we're going to look like? Okay, let's open our eyes and get up again. Okay, now quickly review in your mind what your jump is supposed to look like. So I want you to close your eyes really quick. Again, review it. All right, and we'll count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. Okay, sit back down. Okay, now I want us to go into actually a more meditative state. So we're going to close our eyes. And I want you to let your previous thoughts about jumping around kind of settle. You don't need to engage with them as much as you just were. And I want you to go back to our first meditation where you're focusing on the breath and how the breath is coming in and out of your nose. Keep your eyes closed. Now that you've settled a little bit, I want you to feel that grounding that our book has talked about on many occasions. Feel your contact with the chair and the earth, and feel your energy coming down from your head possibly to the rest of your body and what it feels like to be in your body. So right now you're not the watcher. You are just you. Now we're going to set the intent of jumping. But instead of wanting a goal or desiring to have the highest, coolest jump of the whole class, we're now just going to focus our intent on being in ourselves while we jump. So I want us to open our eyes and stand up. And now jump. See how much lighter that felt? So much less effort involved. Okay, we can sit down and not make fools of you anymore. Right now I'm going to show a video clip since nobody wanted to demonstrate. So instead Bruce Lee's going to demonstrate for us. But I want you to keep in mind what you just felt in the 3 different types of action I asked you to perform. The first one being sort of a mindless action, just a reaction. And the second one being attaching a goal to this action and making a certain concentrated effort with the hope of a reward, and then taking the action. And then, of course, the third one being taking action with intent, but not with a set goal. This is a clip from Enter the Dragon, so it's a little old, sorry. Here he's referring to the three poisons. That was a somewhat early representation of martial arts and Buddhism, but I thought he was pointing to several important things in his interactions with both his teacher and his student, right? The idea of what emotional content means and how we use our body, but we don't want to be expressing our anger and these types of things through our body because we don't elicit the type of result that perhaps is where we set our intent. So first we're going to talk about these Buddhist concepts in action, not in just the martial arts context, but in sports on a larger scale. And I want you to keep in mind what you saw in the movie, although it was funny, what it was alluding to when we go through these concepts and discuss them. So if we get through the whole time today, I'll be talking about how groundedness manifests itself and is represented through action, how not self is involved and non-action, emotion and action, and we probably won't have time, but the notion of violence and how that plays into action. So sports that focus and teach Buddhist concepts, all of these martial arts listed here have a Buddhist focus in some way or another, just because Buddhism was coming into Asia at the time that they were being taught, and quite often different arts were taught in Buddhist temples, and quite often they have a meditative component because it's very important at the higher levels of skill that the mind and body are unified. Otherwise, action becomes slow. It becomes clunky, per se. It becomes like the second jump you guys did, where it makes you feel tired and it's easy to predict. So first, I want to mention how energy moves through the body. In the notion of talking about action in Buddhism, how your energy moves through your body is very, very important. Quite often in Western sports, we don't think about this per se, although it's still present. So here is something I just downloaded online. It's a representation of how the meridians run through the body in one type of Chinese medicine. And the second picture over there is a picture of the chakras, which are discussed in Ayurvedic or a form of Indian alternative medicine. And then that other picture is an infrared representative of someone walking past those infrared cameras during SARS that could tell if you had a fever or not. But it's also a depiction of how the energy and heat is in the body. So in groundedness, in groundedness, actually, energetically, you're connecting with the ground through your first chakra. And your first chakra actually interacts with the ground, and there's an energy interplay. If we just talk about the basic, what is thought to be going on, is you're drawing energy from the ground and giving energy back. There's a constant interaction. So qi and internal practice. Actually, I asked a couple martial arts masters, and they noted that most students, whether they start out studying a hard style or a soft style, by the end of the more advanced stages of practice, they are practicing meditation. And actually, the meditation becomes a very, very important component of the practice. And here's why. So you're developing your qi. Qi meaning energy. Qi is also manifested in the breath, and it's also air. So actually, when a martial arts student is developing this qi, there's a saying that a student takes 20 years to just feel how their qi and energy is running through the meridians in their body. They take another 20 years to develop and cultivate this qi, and another 20 years to learn how to use it. And using it, I mean by taking the energy here at your core, at your center, and being able to release it out your hands or your feet. And this can also be used for healing techniques as well, but it's most commonly seen in the martial arts. So we're using the earth as a base, and generally in all sports, I can't think of a single sport where the ground is not home base. We're always stuck with gravity. Even if we can defy it momentarily, it comes back, right? Even in water, we're bound to gravity. So in martial arts, energy is coming from the center, and we're being grounded, right? So what does that mean? That means basically we're balanced, right? And yet we're releasing energy from the center of our body. And in combat, it's out our hands, out our feet, right? Our elbows, our knees, whatever we can use. But in other sports, we've been a little creative, right? In skiing, now we're releasing energy through our feet, but we're also manipulating the forces that we come into through our muscular energy expenditure, right? But we often talk about core muscles. How many of you guys do sports in here? Great. How many of you do sports and do not do abdominal exercises? One, maybe two. It's become a very, very important component. I don't know of a single sport that does not teach you to do abdominal work because your center is so important to what the rest of your body's doing. So you might ask how you ground yourself in other sports. Well, for example, if you're mountain biking, you're still connected to the ground through a machine, right? You must be centered over your bike. If you're too far back, you fall back. If you're too far forward, you'll tumble, right? So actually, you're still grounded. You're just grounded through a medium. Same in horseback riding. There's a lot of talk in horseback riding about grounding yourself through the horse because there's a very large change in how nervous the horse actually feels when you can ground yourself through the horse. They become calm and far more confident than if you were ungrounded. In motion, there's a constant interplay between the ground and our bodies. And we're constantly, since we're bound to gravity, we're always playing with it. In water, same thing, although we're moving horizontally. And so we see this represented in the balance beam, right? Centered. If you move off your center, people fall off. Same with the bike. So basically, this is my concoction of the goal of a given sport. So you use one's mental and physical state to create a desired outcome acting out of one's body, right? So it's a very simple definition that I pulled out of thin air. But it brings about this whole idea of creativity, intent, effort, perhaps. And these are all very important, and Buddhist talks about them quite a bit. Also the notion of creativity and action, which we'll talk about in a second, and mechanics as opposed to spontaneous action. So is there any sport you can think of where biomechanics don't come into play? Maybe sleeping. So sport in the not self. So this spontaneous action as opposed to biomechanical action. What does that mean? How did you feel in the activity, if anybody's willing to share their experiences, between the first jump, the second jump, and the third jump? Yeah. Almost like spontaneous creativity.